What's going on, everybody? Solstice just added yield trading to the platform, a cool new way to start earning flares or a high APY, depending on which side of the equation you want to do. The cool thing about yield trading is that it allows for the speculation of the value of flares. As you guys may know, flares will equal to an SLX token at TGE, so there could be a pretty nice reward at the end of this campaign. If I was to boil this down to absolute basics, this category here is selling flares. This category here is buying flares. This category here is kind of a balance of both. So let me try to explain this a little more conceptually before we dive deeper into it. eUSX is a yield-bearing stablecoin. So it's a stablecoin that you've locked in and it's earning a certain amount of yield. That yield right now is 4.17% from Solstice's work. And part of that yield is also earning flares because, as you know, that's going to be a token at TGE. So the token has two parts. It has the stablecoin that you've put in, and then it has the yield from Solstice and the flares. So the cool thing about yield trading is that you can actually separate those two and then buy and sell different parts of it. So in this category, what you actually do is that you chop off the yield and flares part and you can actually sell it to people. So now your stablecoins are not earning anything, but people are paying for your flares and yield. On this side, you're buying the yield and flares, but you're giving up your stablecoins. And then again, like I said, the third category is a bit of a balance. So if you look here, it says 22.52% APY. That is because that's how much yield and flares are going for. Here it also says 22.5% APY because that is what people are paying. What could be a little confusing is that both show APY, but this is paying and this is earning. Unfortunately, there's not a difference, there's not different letters when you're on the other side of the equations, but that is kind of the cost of flares and APY right now. And then we're going to get into this section when we get into it. So very quickly, let me show you how this one looks. If you want to earn a high APY on your eUSX and don't care about flares or the yield of Solstice, this is where you go. You basically convert your eUSX, let's say I had 100, into PT-eUSX, you get 109. It's around 22.57% APY because by the end of the date, by March 11th, you'll actually have $109. If you think about it, very quick math, $10 in half a year is 20% in a full year. So the APY is about correct, and you're now at $109 by March. So it's guaranteed APY because of the selling of the other side of the equation. So that's for the APY chasers. If you just don't want to get into the campaign, but you want to sell into the hype, PT's for you. YT is if you're bullish on flares. Now, if I'm being completely honest right now, I think flares are selling for a very, very high premium. I think they're a little overpriced because that's what this implied APY shows. Implied APY means this is the APY you need to earn to break even, right? So you need to also put 100 here so you guys can see it. And this chart kind of helps. So it shows if flares end up being worth nothing, zero, it's a fugazi, you're actually going to be down 84% of how much you buy in the YTs, which is a little scary. If flares are worth around 10% at TGE, you're still going to be down 37% of your bag if you put $100. Now, if flares are worth 20% at TGE, then you've made the right choice and your bag is up. So you made the right choice in buying people's flare plus yield. So what matters right now is this implied APY needs to be the current APY. I mean, this could also go up. Plus the value of flares need to make up 23%. Now I've seen this fluctuate from 14 to 25%. So I believe around the 14, 15, 16% is maybe more realistic. Again, we don't know, it's all speculation. It's all speculation. If SLX token goes absolutely berserk and gives you like 50%, then hey, all the YT people are happy. The PT people are like, ah, shoot, I missed out. But if it doesn't perform as well, then you have burned a lot of your capital betting on YT. That's the whole game. It's a betting on both sides. So it's something that you want to look out for when you're buying YT is what is the implied APY when you're buying it, because that's how much you're paying for flares. If to simplify it even more, let's say you're paying $100 for 10,000 flares, at this implied APY. If the implied APY drops to 15%, then maybe you're paying $70 for 1,000 flares, or however much I said before. Okay? I hope you get it. If you have any questions, drop them below. The last category, because I don't want to make this video too long, is the balanced one. Now I'm in this one. The cool thing about it is that they do give you 10x flares for it. So they do boost this pool because this is actually needed for the trading to happen. And there's something interesting that I want to explain on this page if you decide to get in. So here you can look at the composition. I have mostly PT, which is what's contributing to a lot of my yield. And then I have some regular EUSX. So with this composition, it's kind of showed that I've sold my YT-eUSX. I've sold some of my yield, this whole white portion, and then I'm holding regular EUSX. So it's giving me flares, a little bit of APY, and yeah, it's again, more of the balanced approach, but it's also funding YT for other people. Now the scary part here is that my PNL is minus 105 bucks. And this is just since last night. This is like 12 hours ago. So it looks a little scary because for 6K, losing 100 bucks is like, whoa, what the hell is going on? But the reason why this PNL is so negative is because since I've deposited, the prices of YTs have gone up. So it's an unrealized PNL because when I got in this pool, again, the implied APY was around 15%. So the YTs weren't selling for that much, the ones that I sold, getting into this position. Now the YTs are worth even more, so technically I lost some potential money. Something to note, and I don't know if I emphasize this enough, this whole system works until March 11th, right? At March 11th, all YTs stop earning yield. All YTs stop earning flares. So YT's price will go to zero. And when YT's price goes to zero, PT's price goes up. There's a mechanism on that, but you're just gonna have to trust me on that one. And so that's why I say this PNL is unrealized, because right now YTs are overpriced, but they will eventually drop back to zero. This will rebalance itself, and then my APY is just from these yields that I earn. So I hope this makes sense. I would say, not financial advice, I do say this balanced approach, if you can hold it till March, is easy flares, easy APY, low risk. It's only risk if you have to pull it out early, because then you realize some unrealized losses. YT is the riskiest because you're betting completely on flares and if they're going to be worth it. And then PT is actually the most safe because you've kind of guarantee your yields because you've sold off your YTs to people trading, and eventually again PT goes to 1, YT goes to 0. So your PT right here will be full EUSX at the end of March. Anyways, that's a lot. I've made a couple Pendo videos before, but if you have any questions, this is, I think, took me the most time to grasp when I learned this a few years ago. So if you have questions, drop them below. Hope this video was helpful. If you like it, drop a like. If you are just joining Solstice, I do have a code. Put in code Travis if you want to support my climb with a capital T. I got 28 active participants, so thank you guys for helping me with that. Cheers, everybody.